Dr. Mitch Elkins, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks.
Thank you for being here. You're with the Heart Association. I'd like to ask you, first of all, tell us what is the role of the Heart Association. I think we need to know that.
Well, the American Heart Association is one of the largest nonprofit groups in the United States devoted to cardiovascular disease prevention and care, and we work to educate people about heart disease and stroke.
Do they set guidelines when we're talking about at risk for heart attack, or they just tell us that?
So the Heart Association does draft guidelines on all major aspects of cardiovascular and stroke prevention and care. So we work with some of the top doctors in the country who volunteer and offer their time and review the latest research in order to provide the recommendations for treatment and care of those patients.
Talk about, so we understand the role of the Heart Association. Let's talk about why is it important for patients with hypertension to know their numbers regularly and self-monitor blood pressure?
So, Valder, we've always called high blood pressure or hypertension the silent killer because people often don't know that they even have it until something catastrophic happens, like a heart attack or a stroke. And so when the numbers are elevated but not yet causing symptoms, it's real important that people get their blood pressure checked, identify those elevations, and get them taken care of. And it's easy to do that, right? People can do it at the doctor's office, but they can also do it these days at the gym, at a pharmacy, at a kiosk in a grocery store. Get those numbers checked. Talk to your doctor. Sometimes it takes medication, but sometimes it's just a question of making some adjustments in your lifestyle, more activity, more exercise, eating right, less sodium, for example. These are all ways that people can bring their blood pressure under control.
My statistics, my script tells me that nearly half of all adults in the U.S., they have elevated blood pressure. Is that correct?
That is correct. And again, a lot of people who have it don't even know that it's elevated until it gets checked by a doctor, if they go into an emergency room for something else, for example. And so it's definitely under-recognized, and even when it's recognized, it's under-treated, and when it's treated, it's under-controlled. So we can do a better job, and that's why I'm here today and why the Heart Association is trying to educate people about this issue.
Why is it essential for people to work closely with their healthcare professional before using an over-the-counter medication, especially if they have pre-existing conditions?
Some over-the-counter medications can actually affect the blood pressure. And so although people may have this idea that medicines that are over-the-counter are completely safe and benign, they can increase blood pressure, especially in people who already have some high blood pressure. So that's why it's important to talk to your doctor, monitor your blood pressure numbers, and make sure if you start a new medication that you check in with the doctor and see if it's okay. There may be an alternative that you could use instead that would have less impact on the blood pressure.
When we say over-the-counter medication, are we talking about like weight loss stuff, probiotics? Because we're currently inundated with all the things you can buy yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the main things we're concerned about are over-the-counter pain medications or some of the cold and flu remedies. So for pain medications, we think about some that we call the NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And those like ibuprofen or naproxen, for example, can have this effect on the blood pressure. And so sometimes it's better to choose something else instead of one of those, and you can talk to your doctor about better alternatives. Other medicines, sometimes stimulants that can be found in those cold remedies, for example, can be dangerous. Sometimes they're marked on the box that way, and so you can choose one that doesn't have one of the stimulants in it. It'll say, what's safe for somebody with high blood pressure, for example. So those are the main ones. There are some others as well, like the oral contraceptives, for example, or steroids themselves. other stimulants that can have an adverse effect. Vitamins, usually not a big problem with the blood pressure. And I think you mentioned probiotics, similarly not typically a concern.
Where do we go for more information to really know what we're dealing with when we're buying things over the counter? Because right now, you should have said Amazon too, because we're buying stuff at Amazon like crazy.
Yeah, that's right. So I would say the best place to go is to the Heart Association's website, which is heart.org, and specifically for information about blood pressure, heart.org/BP tools, BP for blood pressure tools, has lots of information there. I think people will like that.
Thank you for educating us. There's a lot more we need to know, so we can go online and we can find some more. I want my audience to know that the American Heart Association, Dr. Mitch, is Chief Clinical Science Officer. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me and the Heart Association on today.
It's been my pleasure.
Hi, I'm Valder Beebe, host of The Valder Beebe Show. We have over 1,000 videos on ValderBeebeShow.com and YouTube.com/ValderBeebeShow. We upload new videos daily. Our site is a modern baby boomer platform with news and information important to boomers. Subscribe to YouTube.com/ValderBeebeShow and stay connected as I interview the world's most fascinating people.